For the last 2 generations, rural farming communities have been sinking into oblivion because they were made irrelevant by the industrialized, centralized, and commoditized farming system. Being from a small town in Arkansas myself, I witnessed the impact of the primary industry, at the time, the pickle plant, leaving, and hardships associated with that. White Oak Pastures, a farming outfit of Bluffton, Georgia, hopes to break the cycle.
When I started moving from a very industrial cattle, monocultural cattle farm to what we do now, it was entirely focused on the land and the animals, and mostly a process of giving the technologies and figuring out how to make it without them. And there was absolutely no thought whatsoever given to the community development side of it.
What is beyond impressive is how they use a method of farming that improves the environment in a way to build the local economy. Starting in 1995, after over 120 years of operating under industrial agriculture techniques, White Oak Pastures has transformed their farm into a living ecosystem. Using radically traditional farming methods, White Oak Pastures raises 10 species of humanely treated animals living in symbiotic relationships with their environment. This vertically integrated zero-waste model is not an easy task, but it may hold the key to revitalizing rural America.
The town had been in decline all my life, and I had no reason to believe that there was anything I could do about it. I mean, I just accepted that as the way it is. That's just what happened. And spent absolutely no time or effort or energy on figuring out how to improve the town. None, zero. A lot of time and effort and energy and money on how to improve the land and the animals.
Yeah. A sower of prosperity, Will Harris, owner of White Oak Pastures, invites us on a journey through his innovative operations, demonstrating a replicatable management system designed to yield nutrient-dense food, enhance the environment, and revitalize rural America. I'm Logan Duvall, and these are lessons from Bluffton, Georgia.
See how green this home place is? Mm-hmm. So these 2 properties here had been managed holistically for about 20 years when this picture was taken. The further north you go, the browner it gets. Mm-hmm. The only difference in this and this is how long it's been holistically managed using animal impact. That's all right, I got it. I don't need but an 8-foot hole.
You got it? It's a Jeep. You can get out of anything.
You know, this is the ecosystem that this part of the country, that's just it's what it's meant to be.
Pines and oaks.
Yeah, savanna, yeah. One thing that we've learned, and it still astounds me, is how much more grass I grow when I graze properly. Let it go all the way to stage 3. Stage 1, 2, 3 there. Yeah. And then hit it hard impact, long recovery time back to stage 3. That's not how we learned to graze at the University of Georgia in the 70s, but it sure works good.
Yeah.
We were in this space a lot earlier than most folks, and I had pretty much made up my mind that we were a niche provider, and still may be. People that say that they're in this business and they're early innovators in changing the way America produces food. I'd like for that to be right, but I really don't know that I think it is. You got a country that is hopelessly addicted to just obscenely cheap food. I just don't know if enough people can I just don't know how it looks. You know, a lot of people not ever going to be willingly pay the externalized cost that's in industrial food.
I don't think they're going to until they get sick and until that pain point is there to make the change, because you're going to pay for it one way or another.
Yeah.
My baby having cancer, it still hurts. I've still got all the passion in the world to keep pushing ahead.
Well, and that's exactly right. Nothing brings about change like pain. You know, my dad had 2 or 3 employees, maybe 4, and that's the way I ran it. So when I started changing, I would have had probably 3 minimum wage employees. The payroll would have been $1,000 a week, and you know, we grew it very gradually, or kind of gradually. I mean, we went from 3 employees to 180 employees in about a 10 or 15 year period.
Scale, and you say stuff like having a 3-person mechanic crew. It's just, it's wild to wrap your mind around how much growth that you've had and put into.
We've got a 3-person mechanic crew, a 3-person carpenter crew, a 3-person fencing crew, a 3-person landscaping crew. Very break-even-ish business. I mean, very break-even-ish. The return on investment is horrible, but we make debt service and it works. Our payroll is over $100,000 a week. So that's over $5 million a year. So if I gave everybody a 10% raise, I'd lose money.
Yeah.
I got people that make more than me and my children make, but they got a skill set. They know nobody's overpaid. Come on. Every penny that's been invested in Bluffton for the last 30, 40 years was our investment. Mm-hmm. When we changed the way we farm, we brought people in, and it became economically relevant again. We brought people in, and they needed a place to live and dine and eat and sleep and shop and play, and so we built them.
This is the duffel bag that I did.
That's gorgeous. Tell me how you came to White Oak Pastures. When was that?
So I came here in 2013. I was fresh out of college, was like 19, 20 years old.
You've been doing this a while.
Yes, I took a 3-year sabbatical where I went to Texas and I farmed out there with my husband, but I've been with the farm about 7, 8 years now.
And so your husband also works here?
Yes, he is the hog manager.
All right, Jamie, one of the things about White Oak Pastures that is like incredible is y'all use everything. So this is, what is this building and what do y'all do here?
So this is the maker space. This is where we make all of our leather, tallow, and pet shoe items. Bar soap, salve, moisturizer, candles, anything you can think of that we've tried to make product lines out of.
So tallow is beef fat?
Beef fat. So that is tallow. So that, I mean, you can literally eat
the
some.
raw.
Yeah.
Raw thing.
That's right. I mean, it comes
looks like
straight
butter.
from. It does. My husband says that all the time. But it's just tallow in it. I mean, you can touch it and it moves right into your skin.
So is that like moisturizer?
Mm-hmm. So it actually like pushes your body to heal quicker or absorb it faster because it comes from a mammal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So Jody, your main focus is that kind of the retail side of it, right?
Yep, anything that's customer facing.
Customer facing, so the restaurant?
The restaurant, lodging, the store, education, and events.
That's a lot of stuff.
It is. It is.
Do you like it?
I do like it. You know, I think what people enjoy here is it's a very different experience. I think they come here thinking, oh, it'll be a digital detox, I'll unplug and stay in the cabin, it'll be quiet. And they get here and they take the tour and they realize they opened a whole nother can of worms, and they learn how grocery shopping is so confusing and they didn't realize it, But I think it truly makes an online customer out of them. And, and we get repeat overnight guests, which is exciting for, the fact that you'd want to come here twice is fun, but it's incredible that Bluffton went from a desolate town to a destination in about a decade.
Based off entrepreneurship, right? Like, so based off of what y'all have built, you have brought people in to spend money, which provides jobs, raise your babies around here.
Raise them, you can hear them.
You can hear them outside, that's great. Tell me about how y'all have been able to incorporate like the value-added products, the nose to tail. But we went and saw the tallow, how y'all do that process, and dog treats to candles and soap. So how do y'all figure all that out?
It took a long time, and I think it was just a matter of realizing, ooh, this fat does not compost very well. What can we do with it? It was not that anybody is a genius. It's just that we had to find something to do with it. We're too poor to get it hauled off. Can't afford to do that, and needed to monetize it on it, and so that is where the pet chews and the tallow come in. Utilizing it all.
Pig tongue, and that's ears, noses. This is the pig out bag. It's all pork products. But we do like we'll do spleen and liver, jerky.
And this is a huge business.
Huge business. And these are hides that are still being dried.
And so what's the next step with this?
So the next step of this is they'll take it off. So they'll just pop the ropes, they'll take it off, and then you hear that zing noise. It's being cut with a bandsaw into squares and then rehydrated and rolled.
How important is that closing of the loop and the vertical integration to this style of system?
Well, it's not necessary, I don't guess. I personally like it. I think it builds resilience because you have more control over inputs and outputs. We don't buy any fertilizer. So these plants produce 9 tons a day, 5 days a week of packing plant waste. That's what USDA calls it. It's eviscerate, gut fill, feathers, heads, the bones that aren't marketable. And we compost that, and that's our fertilizer closed loop. We don't buy any fertilizer or bring in any inputs for that. And of course, these are slaughter plants, which means I control the transition to monetize the livestock.
The courthouse.
Whoa, I left the heat on. Great-granddaddy, my granddaddy, my daddy, me, and the 2 girls that came home. Atlanta, Georgia's got, 5, 6 million people, depending on where you draw the lines. Can you feed 5, 6 million people farming like this? And I think so. It's highly replicatable. I can't feed them, but farms like this can feed them. And if it can't, then we got to decide whether or not we need that many people in one place. Maybe that's wrong. They're there, and got to be fed. So, and maybe it's I don't know how that needs to look. Maybe it's some combination of industrial farming and this, or I don't know how that needs to look. There are people that don't want to pay, $6, $7, $8, $9 a pound for ground beef. They want to buy $2 ground beef. And somebody's probably going to raise it for them. People don't want to buy $5 or $6 a pound chicken. They want to buy $2 a pound chicken. So somebody will raise it for them.
What's like the biggest positive that we can share with somebody that's going to make the decision? Do I want the $2 ground, or do I want the $8 to $10 ground?
Well, people respond very well to visuals. We got a compelling visual we got is a picture of rainwater coming off our farm and a neighboring farm after about a 5 or 6 inch rain.
pretty good rainy day here in Bluffton, Georgia, at White Oak Pastures. And what we're seeing is there's a pivot of corn across the road here. On one side it's not White Oak Pastures, and then on the other side of the road that is White Oak Pastures. And what I think is important to talk about in this particular site is looking at the water coming out of the healthy system here at White Oak, where we do have some runoff with the amount of heavy rain we've had today, but that water's coming off clear. There's very little sign of erosion and soil movement and loss of topsoil, which is super important compared to the conventional corn system that we've got on this side, where all that couple hundred acres of corn ground is eroding away and washing that topsoil off and into this stream system. Along with it is coming whatever chemical fertility has been added to it, and topsoil and life. So that system over there is definitely degrading today, right in front of us, whereas this system on this side is intact and resilient, holding on to as much water as it can, and what's shedding off of it is clean and damn near ready to drink.
It's just undeniably compelling. We tried to make farms into factories. You know, factories are very linear, and they lend themselves to scale, which is efficiency. Mm-hmm. So that's the direction we went in, and it works really well, except in a living system. In a living system, which is not linear, it's cyclical, and scale has unintended consequences, and the unintended consequences are usually unwanted and unnoticed and undesirable. Yeah. And I don't operate under the assumption that food production is going this way. It might, but I don't operate under that as something I know is going to happen. And you know, I am perfectly prepared to remain a niche producer if that's what I have to do from a business perspective. From a citizen of the planet perspective, I'd like to see food production go this way, but I'm not convinced it will. If it does, it will be because consumers push it that way.
As consumers, we hold an enormous influence, arguably the most significant, in shaping the future of our food system. Every bite we take, every cent we spend, is a vote cast for the future we wish to see. When we choose food, particularly meat, produced through regenerative practices, we support and strengthen a resilient food system. We provide farmers with the endorsement and motivation they need to continue their essential work. We send a potent signal, a call to attention that hopefully sparks essential changes.
We get asked the question all the time, well, if regenerative agriculture is so great, why isn't everybody doing it? And actually, you know, oftentimes I like to say, well, there's never a dumb question, but I'm going to make the exception now and say that's actually a dumb question. No matter how good something is, not everybody does it, right? You know, so if drinking to excess is bad for you, but we still have people that do it, right?
Yeah, right.
You know, drugs to excess is bad for you, but we still have people that do it. So 100% are never going to adopt anything. That's just people and life. But the fact of the matter is that you cannot implement what you do not know. And the vast majority of farmers and ranchers out there still today do not understand regenerative agriculture.
You cannot expect a farmer who is invested in industrial ag, in a monocultural program, to say, you know, I'm just going to take all these incredible risks and do it different. Yeah. People can't afford to do that, and they probably go broke if they did. The universities are not going to start teaching it. They get their funding from Big Food and Big Ag. Certainly Big Food and Big Ag are not going to have a change of heart because that's not the business they're in. So, and I can go on and on about who is not going to lead that parade. So the only people that are going to be left is consumers. And I'm just unsure that's going to happen. You know, a lot of people hopelessly addicted to obscenely cheap food. You know, I want to leave my children and grandchildren in a position where if indeed food production goes that way, they'll be well situated to do it. If it doesn't, they'll be able to make a living as a niche producer, selling to a more sophisticated consumer that does choose to eat differently.
How valuable is that online aspect of it? Because, you know, it was a town of 100 or under.
Yeah, I think the last census said there was like 102 people, and if there's 102 people here, I can't find them. You know, I don't think there is. But with there being 180 people, you know, that is the community.
Yeah.
People who work here. But, you know, the online sales it's important. We are in Bluffton, Georgia, and you're not coming here unless you're coming here.
Yeah.
You know, rarely. I mean, people pass through on 27, going to Tallahassee, going to the Gulf, but we don't see the traffic that we would need to sell the volume that we need. So online is very important.
It's what is true wealth. You know? I just about have a disdain for cash. If they don't stay on me, I'll get us in trouble, because if I get much cash, I go buy something. And I don't mean a Harley or a condominium. I get another piece of land or another building or build something. Or to me, cash is like sugar. Wealth is like protein. And wealth is another herd, another flock, another acre, another building. And you can get in trouble like that. I mean, you can build more than you can cash flow. I did not understand cash flow. You know, I thought if it's a good deal, you know, you can buy it for $100 and sell it later for $500. Shit, you ought to do that. But I had to learn the hard way that, oh yeah, you got to make debt service every month to get it to that point. I will leave my children some debt. I don't care. No, I'll leave them a business that will service the debt. You know, cash makes you lay your ass up in the bed in the morning. Debt gets your ass out of the bed in the morning. That's good. You get your ass out of the bed in the morning. So I leave as much wealth as I can, not cash.
Do you ever wonder what your dad's thinking?
There have been some times, yeah, but I trust him 100%. I do. He's made this shit work so far, and I have a lot of faith in him.
I got a good job. I love what I do. I tell them I'm semi-retired. I work half the time. That's 7 to 7 days.
Yes.
That's half the time. But you know, I really don't do anything I don't want to do. Everything I do is something I want to do. So I'm deliriously happy.
Our choices impact our health, the environment, and the larger communities. That's why the model Will Harris has shown gives us hope. Each decision is a seed sown towards a more prosperous and sustainable world. So as we close this chapter, remember that the power to shape the future rests in our hands, more importantly, on our plates. This is Sowing Prosperity, and these are Lessons from Bluffton.